Hello everyone, for those of you who haven't met me, I'm Lisa from Pilat-Haze and I'm going to take you through a movement Monday today. So every Monday I'm going to take you through a different Pilates movement. I'm going to take you through the benefits of the exercise, ways to make it a little easier for beginners or anyone with injuries, and ways to make it a little bit more challenging, okay? So we're going to start today with the shoulder bridge. So what you're going to do, you don't need any equipment for this, just your mat if you have one or a bit of floor space. And bring yourself to seated. Have your feet just about hip distance apart. Spread your toes, plant them into the mat. And then I hold down to my knees and gently roll myself down onto the mat. Relax your shoulders back and make sure your heels are still nice and close to your bum, okay? From here, take your hands out left and right and turn and face your palms up towards the ceiling. Roll the shoulders back and let them relax even further. So despite this being called a shoulder bridge, I want your shoulders to be as relaxed and heavy as possible. They have no work to do here, okay? From here, I'm going to take a lovely big inhale through my nose. And as I do, I'm going to roll my hips to my belly button, so my low back flattens onto the mat. As I exhale out my mouth, I'm going to stand into my feet and I'm going to gently roll up. Now, you want to roll up as slowly and as carefully as you can. When you get to the top, I always just pop my hands onto my hips and just make sure they're balanced. We don't have one hip dipping or the other. Send your knees a little bit more forward. Imagine your shins are reaching forward and those hips are reaching up into the sky. Lovely. Now switch your bum off. Let it relax. Big inhale at the top here, and then exhale, you're going to melt down. Now I want you to think about the upper ribs coming down, the lower ribs, your mid back, your low back, and your tailbone. When you get to the bottom again, and inhale, roll your hips to your belly button. Keep that connection with the hips rolling up towards your face as you roll up. So by doing this, we keep length in the low back and we avoid any arching. If you find you get a little bit of strain in your low back during it, imagine all the energy is floating up towards your face, so your hips are rolling towards your face all the time to keep that length in the low back. Your knees are reaching forward, you're taking lovely long deep breaths, melting down and peeling up just as gracefully. Now if you have lots of rocking and shaking in the hips, just pop your hands on your hips and you're just going to roll up and down and focus a little bit more on standing into both feet nice and evenly. If you find you're getting stuck in space in the back as you roll down, if you're really tight, just slow it right the way down, and you can always pause at whatever part of the back you get caught in. So if you roll down and you think, nope, this whole next section is coming down by itself, I can't roll gently, take a second and see if you can slow it down even more. Super. Now for anyone with injuries or finding it a bit too challenging, you can always go just halfway up and back down. Or you can always elevate your feet. So you could have a little box, pop your feet on the box, and that's going to help you then with lifting up and rolling down. Okay, now let's do a little bit of a challenge, a bit more of an advancement. So what we're going to do is roll to the top, we're going to hold it here. Now our goal is to keep our hips balanced in this challenge. Leave all the weight in your left foot, your right foot comes up to tabletop, which is just knee over your hip, shin in line with your mat. Hold it for 2 seconds, make sure those hips are balanced, and then switch feet. Transfer the weight to that right foot, left foot comes up. If you find you're dipping into that hip, reach the thigh bone up and out of the hip socket so that the hips are balanced. Hold for about 2 seconds each side. You will start to feel those hamstrings, backs of your thighs burning, so don't panic if that starts to happen. We're going to go for another 2. And then when you're ready, go for your last one. Place the foot down and you're going to roll all the way to the bottom. Bring your knees in towards your chest and give yourself a little baby rock from left to right. Rock the knees in towards your chest and then rock yourself up to seated. So that's your shoulder bridge for your first movement Monday. Well done. Really, really good exercise. It strengthens all of the posterior chain. You're strengthening through the base, right from your feet, the foundations of our posture. You're spreading your toes, standing into those feet, giving yourself really good grounding, strengthening all the way through the hamstrings. Super, super brilliant move for your spine. Lovely spine articulation. and just control with that breath as well. You do get a lovely stretch through the core as well, and those hips get to open up. It's a wonderful move. That's why I wanted to start with it for our first movement Monday, and I hope I'll see you here again next week for our next move.